A lot of times people wonder what leads people to homelessness and what is really the cause of homelessness. And after 19 years of working with homeless people, the cause is really pretty simple. It is that we have an extremely large amount of people who are living in poverty. And when people who live in poverty face a crisis, many times it is that crisis that sends people over the edge into homelessness. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, paying more than 30% of your income on your housing, and something happens to that income, something happens to your ability to work, there's a greater chance that you're going to become homeless. I often say to folks that we need to look around and figure out, who amongst us is really truly prepared for that crisis. And so for us, it's real important that we're here. Homefull is here for people that really are facing that crisis. And I want people to realize that it's pretty close to terms of it affecting you, me, or anybody else.
My children share the same father. We had been together for 14 years. I never in a million years would have thought that I ended up in the position that I did. But the last 4 or 5 years of our relationship was really bad. It got really physical towards me and the kids. And it just got to the point where I knew I had to do something. There came a night where he was arrested for domestic violence and they removed him from the home. He was the one with the income. I stayed at home and took care of the kids. So I just assumed that he was paying the bills like he was supposed to, and I was informed that he had not been paying our rent or our utilities. I believe his intention all along was he was saving his money to just leave us. We were evicted out of that house because I could not, like I said, I wasn't working. I couldn't afford to pay the bills on my own. Even though I did meet a wonderful guy who was going through a separation on his own, he tried to help me and my children. He's a veteran, fought in the war. Lost his job, so that left all of us homeless and nowhere to go. We tried staying with friends and family. There were even a couple of nights that I'm not proud to say that we stayed in places that didn't even have electricity just so the kids could have a roof over their head when they went to sleep at night. We bounced them around from one spot to the other, and it was really, it's really hard to have to explain to your children, your young children, why they don't have a place to sleep every night and why they don't have food for their bellies or a stove to cook the food on, or even something as simple as running water in a place of their own to be able to take a shower. And I really felt like giving up. The school came to me one day and they asked me if there was something going on. They'd noticed a change in Nicholas's behavior. And so I finally just sat in the principal's office and I broke down crying because I just needed to tell somebody. It's a horrible feeling to feel like you can't take care of your own kids. And it's not something I ever expected to have to go through. And I broke down in the office that day and I told him exactly what was going on, and that we in fact didn't even have a place to live. And that's when they probably gave me the best advice in my entire life. They told me they had somebody they felt could maybe help somebody in my situation, and put me in contact with Homefull.
I met Rebecca and Shannon literally 1 week before Christmas, and I typically don't get an opportunity to get readily involved in the day-to-day case management of clients. And this particular one kind of struck me because, first off, she was in our administration building and she had her 2 kids with her. And at this particular time, she was very upset and crying, distraught. And there was a lot of people, a lot of staff trying to kind of rally around her to see what we could do to help her. And so, of course, I'm always one to jump in, and particularly when I see a couple of kids. And so for this particular family, I just asked if I could sit down and listen to what was going on. And at that point, I was so struck by the struggle that, one, I could see in Rebecca, and 2, to hear her tell about her story. And she had really come to the point where she felt it was a decision of entering into homelessness and feeling very desperate versus maybe it's time I have to give my kids away so that they can be taken care of better than I could do. And I'm a parent, and that kind of struck me, that anyone would have to make that kind of decision. And particularly with it snowing outside and 1 week before Christmas, I felt like this woman really could use our help, probably more now than ever before.
After jumping from place to place thinking you could count on your family, and then to realize your family's not there to help and your friends aren't there to help and you have nowhere to turn, I went into the thing thinking, I'm going to go talk to these people, but I'm not going to get my hopes up, because I just felt hopeless and despaired, and I felt like I was never going to get out of the situation that I was in.
They really did kind of have this perseverance that you really felt like this is a family that if we were able to go above and beyond, that I think this family was really going to be the one that was going to hit it out of the park and really succeed. And so for them, we really did think about ways in which we could move mountains in this 1 week and really see what we could do to make things happen. For her and the family, it was figuring out which program of Homefulls that fit best for them at the time. And we were fortunate that we have a rapid rehousing program where we can assist people really quick and put them into housing, and then wrap around the services that they need so that they can maintain the housing.
And it was probably the best Christmas present I've ever in my life received, to be able to bring my kids somewhere and show them, look, this is where we're going to live. We don't have to move around anymore. We don't have to worry about whether or not so-and-so is going to kick us out of their house because they don't want us there anymore. We don't have to worry about whether or not we're going to be able to cook a meal, because this is our home and this is where we're going to stay.
While putting people in a house is very important, and it really is the first step to rebuilding lives, it isn't enough. And while we work every day as hard as we can for every family that we're going to serve, there was something special that it was right before Christmas. And for me, I tend to believe that people come in and out of my life at different times for reasons. And for this one, I really kind of think that it put it in the perspective of this is what we're supposed to do. And so with a few phone calls and some really great advocacy and some coordination, we were able to not only put this family into housing, but to provide them with a memorable Christmas. And I think it'll be the one that they actually can think that not only did Santa come and visit us and get us provided with all the toys possible that they needed, we were actually able to put furniture in their homes and give them hope for a better new year.
Nobody wants a handout, but everybody needs a little help at some point in their life. And that's what they do. They give you help, they give you hope, and they care.